Yeah, I got boosted and I was fine. The boost didn't do anything to me. Hello, everybody. We're getting started. They can hear us now.
Last day of the year. Make it count.
Nah,
I'm gonna really phone it in.
Yeah, phone it in is kind of our style, I think.
Yeah, make it count. What the hell is that?
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Never mind. I didn't say anything.
We'll take your thank you for the suggestion, but no.
Appreciate the input. I am.
You sound early.
I'm just tired. It's just been. I've been sick.
I mean, it's the last. Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but it was like run down, is what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. We'll do this, and you'll, put it up and put the post up, and you don't have to do anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan.
You can go back to playing Ball in Wonderworld and wish you were thinking about how much better it is than Bowser's.
Oh shit!
Oh, man. All right.
Okay.
Let's see. I
Nothing
should tweet about
happens.
this.
There's no news.
Yeah. I don't think I added a few news things, but we got some other stuff. We got Game of the Year poll to catch up on, and then
yeah.
we'll have Mike guess who's winning there, and then we'll do 2022's most anticipated games. Mike, I've highlighted ones I think might be worth talking about, but mostly it's just we'll probably just touch on them. And if you want to add or remove anything, feel free. But they're bolded, the ones that I want to talk about.
I see that now. Yeah, I'm going through. Just getting a couple things here on Miley. Which one's Soul Cresta? That sounds interesting.
Do
Slightly
do
done.
do.
My name is Michael Minotti.
No.
Yeah, it looks good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
All right. I'm ready.
Are you ready? Are you for real ready?
I'm for real.
Okay.
More for
Good
real
luck.
than a wrestler is going to have a severe concussion.
You're going to need it.
What the hell's been happening? You signed into your account from another tab. Yeah, and?
Okay. Well, is that not allowed?
Yeah, since when is that a problem?
Like, so fuck you.
Google, you have like 50 products I need to be signed into at once. What are you talking about?
How dare you do this?
Yeah.
I can't believe you've done this. Why did no one play the new FNAF? It's a pretty fun indie game aside from Rocky Start. What's FN? Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's.
FNAF,
Yeah. That's one of those things where I think that if you were, I don't know. I think I was just too old for that one.
You have a camera, Mike?
I do. I should turn it on. I can ask me to turn on my camera. You asked me, do I have a camera? Which is fair. It's a fair way of disgracing me into doing things I'm supposed to do a long time ago.
Mike is large and in charge. Let's see if we can do something about that.
Thank you for the life force you give me.
Mike is huge.
Yeah, he knows. Get out of here.
Mike is huge.
You doing anything for New Year's, Jeff? I know
no.
you're not, but I decided to ask him.
I might play Mario Party on Twitch tonight. That's my plan.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I want to play more Mario Party. Mike, you need to take some sleep. Take some sleep, asshole. I took enough sleep. Trust me. Somebody said, take a sleep, asshole. Somebody said that once at a party when they were drunk.
It's how I say it to my kids. I'm like, you want to go take a sleep?
Take a sleep. You have to say asshole. Take a sleep, asshole.
Well, I mean, that's how I finish every sentence when I'm talking to my children.
Jeff, I'm wider than you, and it bothers me.
I'm trying to fix that. There probably is a way to like see like a 50% guide on here, but
I mean, we can use your eyes.
I'm not good at that.
Well, I'm here for you, Jeff, and right now I'm too wide. That's good enough right there. That's fine. That's
kept
good.
Adjusting it. Okay, I went back. Okay. I'm kind of. Yeah, you're right. That looks good. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Somewhere around where the eye is on GamesBeat on the sides. There we go.
Okay, yeah, and yeah. All right, that looks close enough. Let's see. What do I need to do? We already tested the music. I need to tweet. Yeah, that's right. I was gonna do that and I got distracted.
GamesBeat Decides is alive. Ah, a Bon Jovi song. That's what she said. Why would that be? That's what she said. I'm a mess.
That article made me so mad. It's like, well, it's like, if you think that makes it a bad game, I'm like, yes, I do. All these things make it a bad game.
It's like, oh, so people are like, oh, people dance for no reason, and you come up to them, they disappear. Why does that make it a bad game? I mean, it's not the only thing.
It's definitely not.
I tell you what, it's baffling to me that Battlefield World Defenders exist. I mean, of course they exist, but even still, it's like the one thing like that everybody should be able to agree on. Like I'm not shocked that people think the Earth is flat, but everybody should know that Battlefield Wonderworld is garbage. Like you know, John Linneman, or gosh, I feel like I always say his name wrong. The Digital Foundry guy, he's incredible, right? He's a total gem in this industry. His work is outstanding. I cannot believe that he sincerely defends Battlefield Wonderworld.
And that Nintendo Life article, whatever it was just like, it was obvious projecting, where it's like, people just hate Sonic, and I'm like, I think you just might like Sonic, and so you're kind of working backwards from that. Yeah,
the whole Sonic thing was very weird. Obviously, it had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Yeah, it was like very tenuous at best. I don't know. It's rough. I don't like calling other people out, but that was a weird article, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's no accounting for taste, the end, whatever. But no, I know a bad game when I play one to completion, and then it was bad throughout. Okay, I think I'm set up. I've tweeted. I've got chat here. We're starting to get some super chats in. If you have questions, go ahead and send that in. We have all the questions from the community over here. I've got the game of the year over there. I think that's good to go. Okay. Yeah, Mike, I'm ready. I'll hit record and play the music and get going. You good?
I am good.
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3. Uh-oh, I hit the button twice. And so
what to say? Why did it start fading out?
Start fading out right away. All right.
Well, 5, off to a bad start.
4, 3, 2. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything happening in the world of games so you don't have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, we have news, we have games. We'll get to a bunch of that stuff here pretty soon. Actually, there isn't much news, and we've probably been playing some games, but mostly I just want to find out, how you doing, Mikey?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's kind of like stuff's winding down. It's the end of the year. Not much happening. Have you found time to play some games or anything like that? Man.
So, my whole life is a horrible lie. I thought that I was going to catch up on all these games like this, and this month, and it turns out I just kept playing Final Fantasy 14 and Halo is what I actually did.
Yep, that's what I'm like. Oh yeah, I got a list of stuff I want to catch up on. And then I just start playing old games again. Like get the Retroid Pocket out, and I've been playing Einhander a lot still. So that's kind of
Einhander. That's nice. There you go.
It's been really good. We lost frames there for a second, but we're looking okay. I say it again, and there it goes. It was fine. We've been like live for a long time. It was fine. So of course now the second we start, it's going to be having hiccups. But yeah, you got any plans for New Year's? We're New Year's Eve as we're recording this.
Yeah, I'm actually going to a cabin with a small group of friends. I'm already feeling a little guilty about that now because things are surging again. But we'll do this, and then I think I'm going back into a hard quarantine relatively hard quarantine for like the rest of January.
You just tested negative, right? Like if
I
other
just
people...
took a test. Right, I just had my test the other day, so I am negative right now. So I know at least I won't be the one to give everybody COVID.
Right. Yeah, I got my we went to KP Kaiser and got a real test yesterday, and we should get our results either today or maybe tomorrow.
Right.
So I'm like, we got a cold. Everyone was sniffly, and it's like the kids, that seems right. And we were both vaccinated, and Steph had her booster, and she felt it the least. So it's like maybe it lines up, maybe it makes sense that that's what it was, but whatever, we got our test, we'll see what it was. But yeah, Omicron's everywhere. It's probably going to cause problems in the new year, but right now everyone's on vacation, so games aren't being made anyhow. But yeah, I guess we can get into the show then. First, I want to thank everybody for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me at GamesBeat.com. If you have something to share with us, email the podcast at GamesPlusPodcast@VentureBeat.com or get us at GamesBeat. Thank you to Carlos Ain, who's Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. If you are listening to this on the website player widget, you could subscribe to the audio version on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. It really helps people find the show. Leave a comment, tell us what you like about the show. That helps as well. Join the Discord. The link is in the description. Discord.gg/GameMess is how you join and hang out with us. It's free to join. But you can go to patreon.com/GameMess. Join the Patreon. That gets you into the secret channels inside the Discord. Gets you like a monthly Q&A, which I should probably do soon. The month's going to be over here tonight. I probably won't do it today, but I'll have to catch up and do 2 next month. So maybe I'll do one early next month.
There's a lot of things you forget. Did you ever put the Game & Watches for the giveaway thing?
I mean, we could talk about the things I forget all day long, Mike. I mean,
good. There's a lot of them.
I'm like,
I remember your exact words where I'm doing that right now.
I know. I was like, I gotta go get a picture of them because I feel like I should get a picture of them so people could see. But everyone knows what they're like. I'll just download a picture off the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll put it in the Discord. I'll do that right now during the show.
No, don't do that.
And then thank you to our mods who have been great at keeping the Discord really civil and fun to hang out in, and keeping the chat here fresh and clean. And let's see, let's do this one more time. Register for our upcoming GamesBeat event. Go to events.venturebeat.com. We have a bunch of cool industry luminaries coming to speak on a variety of topics. They are very insightful, and it's always fun to take part in those and ask questions and stuff like that. So check that out. Go to events.venturebeat.com. That's events.venturebeat.com.
We had Dennis Dyack at the last one. I didn't even know until I got the week 4. I was like, what the hell? Dennis Dyack is gonna be there. I was like messaging Jeff like, oh my god, Dennis Dyack is gonna be there. Holy shit.
When I think about him, I always think about the one console future and also suing Epic and that not going very well.
Yeah, one console future, yeah.
It's a nice thought, Dennis. Maybe not exactly how you thought it would go, what we have today. I have some news, Mike, not a lot, but there are some things to talk about. Should we do that and then get to the other stuff, like looking forward to next year and everything?
Yeah, let's get to that newsy news.
So up first, Final Fantasy XVI was delayed. We talked a little bit about this on Nintendogs earlier this week, but I mean, not a big surprise. Mike, what were your feelings on this?
I wasn't expecting to hear anything about the game by the end of the year anymore, but it was pretty nice that, like, you know, Yoshida is like, I said I'd give him an update before the end of the year, so I'm going to give him an update, even though he's like, yeah, like, you know, development slowed down a bit. He said it's basically a little bit less than a half-year delay, but we don't know. There's never a release date, so we don't really know what that means. We don't know if that means the game was supposed to come out late 2022, and now it's 2023, or if the game's supposed to come out in the summer, and now it's coming on a holiday. We don't know. I'm almost preparing myself for it to be a 2023 thing, just so I don't get too disappointed here. But, I mean, you know, I'm very excited about this game. This is a lot of the Final Fantasy 14 people. The little bit that they have shown looks very good. This is, you know, my most anticipated game that's coming out for next year or whatever. Take their time. I want them to take their time when I want it to come out. I want it to be good. I don't want it to be like Final Fantasy 15, which was a very good game that probably could have been a great game with one more year in development.
Right, exactly. And you know, this is the team that you mentioned just now, but like they're very busy. It's not a surprise at all that they are gonna need more time for this game. I think it's just the reason it's like even worth noting at a certain point is just all the rumors we heard about the game coming sooner than we expected. In this world, I think, you know, did anyone really fully believe that? Like, I don't know if I ever fully believed that. I think in my heart I was like, yeah, if they need extra time, they're going to take it, and they're probably going to need extra time, and now here we are.
I mean, there's no rush. You had Endwalker come out, and just it's literally like it's making more money than it's possible. They had to stop selling it. It's like, okay, we guess we made enough money from this now, and now we just need to make sure people have a good experience with it because it's getting out of control. So
exactly. So yeah, they got big fish to fry, and those fish will make them a lot of money. So it's like, yeah, focus on that stuff, and then get to Final Fantasy 16 in due time. And yeah, make it as good as possible. I mean, I want to see more from Final Fantasy 16. I thought I really liked that trailer. I know some people were like not super impressed with the graphics. I was like, I don't know, the art style is doing a lot for me there. I really like the fantasy, like the real hard fantasy that they're going for, or maybe the really hard medieval times vibe that they were going for.
Right, it felt a bit more medievally, and then you could say Game of Thronesy. I guess that fits. Sure,
it definitely is Game of Thronesy. Like
it's little Games of Thronesy.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a little bit of that goes a long way.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same way that like those games often take inspiration from other stuff that those creators are interested in at the time, like the Star Wars prequels around the time of Final Fantasy 12. Like it's just very obvious. Like they map that stuff on there, and then they kind of just take it in their own direction, and it's still always interesting. So yeah, I'm not surprised that the people that are, American TV shows do very well in Japan, and Game of Thrones, I'm sure, was very popular when they were coming up with this.
Sure,
game.
And it's just, the last two single player ones, Final Fantasy 13 was very sci-fi, and then 15 was very kind of modern-ish, right? Like it was mostly guys with normal clothes riding cars and stuff. And there's like fantasy elements. But to have one that goes like hardcore medieval fantasy again is going to be very good.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of potential for that to be very appealing right now. Okay, moving on. Riot has agreed to pay $100 million to settle a class action gender discrimination lawsuit. Now, that might sound familiar. Might sound like a little bit of an echo of a past story, and that's because this is a sort of an adjustment to a previous settlement Riot attempted to make, where they were going to settle for $10 million for the same gender discrimination lawsuit. The people that they tried to settle with, though, did not accept that $10 million and kind of went back to the bargaining table. And now they're able to get $100 million, and 80% of that will go to the women who worked at Riot from like 2014 up through till today, I think. And then the rest of the money, I think, is going to go to like programs to help prevent this stuff from happening in the future and things like that. So it's a big increase from $10 million. Yes. It is a settlement, so it's going to be stuff like, oh, we admit no wrongdoing, blah, 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 that sort of thing. But there are other lawsuits and other civil suits coming against Riot, specifically against its CEO from one of his previous assistants. I believe that's still happening. So this is not the end of the story for Riot, but this is the end of this part of it. So, it just kind of shows, like, keep fighting, don't accept like the scraps that they try to give you, and in the end, this is much better than $10 million.
Yes, that's good. That's the kind of point, there's some people who are like, oh, what about, like, everyone's like, oh, I guess Riot got away scot-free because everybody just talked about Activision Blizzard. So, like, no, that stuff's still all happening, and it's getting processed. It's not, the loudest conversation right now, but these things are ongoing.
Yep. There's only so many burners on the stove, right? Like, you can only talk about so much at a time. It doesn't mean these things are completely falling off the face of the earth.
Right. And when there's a big development like this, people talk about, we're talking about, there it is.
Exactly. It's how it works. It's how humans discuss news.
Like, why didn't anybody talk about Sony at the end of 2021?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yes. Kojima says he is working on 2 games. He was in an interview, and he kind of gave a very high overview of what those games are. He says one is a really big one, and the other one is a new challenging game. A lot of people are looking at that and saying the new challenging one is probably the cloud-based one that he was trying to make, that he's in the process of negotiating with Microsoft.
That's your thing.
Yes, the one that I've talked about before.
You're on the line for that one.
I'm on the line for that one, and I think that sounds pretty accurate. That sounds right to me.
The fact that he says he's working on 2 games, I think, gives you some points, right?
Yeah, right, exactly, yes. And like new challenging one, and it maps onto like what he said before about how like he's wanted a game that can like change in real time and respond to like certain inputs from the real world. All that stuff would be possible with the cloud, kind of stuff that happens with Microsoft Flight Simulator, right? So it's like, it's easy to map the stuff on and sort of connect the dots. But what do you think the big one is, Mike? I've heard if you go onto Reddit, if you go onto Resetera, there are a couple of ideas. One is, well, Norman Reedus once said that they're making Death Stranding 2, so it's definitely Death Stranding 2. And the other one is, this is the Silent Hill game that he's making with Guillermo del Toro. That I think I can't remember the name of the site, Gamatsu reported on or something like that. So what do you think it is?
I mean, I immediately thought Silent Hill also. Gosh, does Death Stranding need a sequel? I don't know. I mean, what needs a sequel?
I don't really believe that that's what Norman Reedus was talking about.
I think he's talking about the director's cut and some stuff.
I think he's talking about the director's cut.
Yeah, I also think that. I hate saying this. I think Silent Hill is more likely than Death Stranding 2, but we'll see.
I mean, listen, I think it's in the realm of possibility. There is a chance that it could happen. But but I think if it does happen, I don't know if he would be like actively making it. But he says it's a big game, and does that mean it's a big game that he has a big part in playing, or is he just like assigning his name to something another studio is working on?
You know, a lot of things like that could be the cloud game just because it uses like, you know, world map data, like
right,
Flight Simulator, and that's the big game because it has this giant world created in the cloud. So it's not much of a clue.
Yeah, it's not. You're right. I'm gonna go out and say it is neither Silent Hill or Death Stranding 2. Honestly, I think Death Stranding 2 is more likely, just because Death Stranding sold so well, like more than 5 million copies or something like that. And that's pretty good for that game and that budget that they had.
Sure.
But I think the more likely thing is it's something new. Actually, that's like the most likely thing.
I think look, we probably have a Sony something here and the Microsoft Cloud something here.
Yes, that sounds right. I think Sony was like kind of coming back around. Like I think after Death Stranding, they weren't sure if they wanted to work with him again. But I think in the end, they're like, we don't want him to go exclusively to Xbox and not work with us anymore. So we'll find something for him to work on. And maybe that does maybe that is where Silent Hill fits into this. Maybe. Okay. Let's see. That does it for the news, Mike. I have a couple of options for us. We could go into our 2022 most anticipated games right now, or we could do a check-in on our community game of the year poll where everyone has voted. I could say, hey, everyone, you could still vote right now. Give them a couple minutes to come back around to that. What do you want to do?
I'm excited for that game of the year poll.
Yeah,
thing.
I am too. I mean, people could vote right this second. The link is in the description, I think, still. It should still take you to it. So there's a couple of these that are pretty close. The first one is not. So you have about 30 seconds to go adjust these and to your whims.
Yeah, I put the link in chat there for if you're watching live. But yeah, and I have fun guessing these. So
yeah. So let me bring it up here. Let me see if this is going to work here. 2021.
I believe in you.
Yes.
You can do it. You can click links and read them.
Well, I just want to bring up the thing and don't peek, Mike. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Where?
Just don't look at the screen for a second because I just moved it out of the way. It's gone now, but you probably still shouldn't look. Give it a couple more seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's gone now. Okay, I think you're good. I think you're in the clear. Right. Okay. So first up, and we have 127 responses. It was just 124, so 3 people just voted. This first one, no way in hell it's going to change. Metroid Dread versus Lost Judgment.
Metroid Dread, yeah, pretty.
Yes.
Pretty.
You want to guess the
probably going to take it all.
You want to guess by percentage wise?
I'm going to say like 90%. Maybe 80, maybe 85.
82% right now, as more and more. Wow. Okay, like the bunch of people are voting. It's jumped up to 140 responses. Okay, yeah. So let's bring that up there. You can see right there. Yeah. 82%, and 142 people voted. This is the one where like almost everyone, like it's 142 responses for this question. 143 was like, so only one person was like, oh, I don't have an opinion on Metroid Dread. Everyone else was like, yeah, I'll vote on that. Okay, the next one is Resident Evil Village versus Hitman 3. This one was a little bit closer. Now it's starting to, the gap grew a little bit, and so I'm pretty comfortable calling it right now.
That's hard. Okay, so
it's very hard.
I think Village is more popular for sure, but we like Hitman 3 a lot, and maybe our fans latch onto what we think. Although if they did that, they would all like Ratchet and Clank more.
These are all good thoughts. Like I think you are reasoning out in the way that I think is pretty close to what's happening.
Yeah, I'm gonna be optimistic here and say Hitman 3 won it.
And the winner is Hitman 3.
Nice.
56%.
Wow.
Here in a second, guys, there's a really close one, and I'm gonna have to actually like close off the voting. I'm gonna turn it off because otherwise it won't work. Because you guys could like change it after I say it. So get your votes in right this second. I think that one's near the bottom. Okay. Halo Infinite versus Inscription.
It's Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite wins with 82% of the vote. So
sorry, Inscription. There was another game I was supposed to play, and just it didn't happen. I'll get to it.
Yeah, I mean, I just finished that the other day. There's a lot to that game. It's very good. It's very good. It's not my game of the year, but it's very good. I actually like Halo Infinite more, so that's where I'm at. All right, next one is a very close one. It Takes Two versus Death's Door.
Oh wow. Okay. I think It Takes Two. I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm a little surprised it's close, but maybe that's just my bias here because I've been playing Death's Door. And I kind of find it boring, but I'm going to say It Takes Two.
Winner is It Takes Two with 53% of the vote.
Only 53. Wow.
Very close.
I
I mean,
have
people
to-
really like Death's Door. People do.
Yeah. So, last time I was complaining on Nintendo Dogs, I wasn't really getting into it. People were like, beat the first major boss, and then if you're not into it anymore, you can get off it. And I beat that first major boss. I like the boss fine, but I'm still like, I'm done with it, I guess. I feel like it's missing something. Like it's just missing some layer of complexity. People keep comparing it to old school Zelda games, and I don't really understand what they mean, aside from the fact that it kind of has a top-down view and you have a sword. Otherwise, I get very little Zelda. It feels like it wants to be a Souls-like, but without the mechanics that make Souls-like games good, or at least like addicting, right? Like you can't really farm in this game. You get souls when you beat enemies, but very few. You get most of your souls from beating bosses or by finding like the item pickups, and those are finite. So I don't know. It's not my thing, but people really like it, and I wonder what I'm missing. Or maybe I'm just smarter than everyone else.
I put the link for the voting into the chat. You really have like 30 more seconds left. Okay, which game is best? Let's see. I just went all the way back to the top. Let me scroll slowly.
Yes, don't spoil it for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Or I'll talk more about how Death's Door is bad.
All right, so we just did It Takes Two versus Death's Door. You got that one right. The next one is Psychonauts 2 versus Nier Replicant version 1.2.
I don't think we have quite enough weebs in our group. I like Nier. I think it's Psychonauts 2 wins.
Psychonauts 2 wins with 83% of the vote.
Wow, I didn't think it would be that high, actually.
Yeah, kind of destroyed it there. All right, so this is the one I'm going to have to shut it down for. Literally, you have 10 more seconds, and I'm going to go turn off the voting right now.
Oh my goodness, I'm excited now. Something real close. What could it be? It must be. I can't remember.
Questions. How do I do this? Responses. Oh, accepting responses. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's off. Now, it was so close, I'm going to have to scroll back down. Who knows who's going to win? So I think this one is Bowser's Fury versus Deathloop.
Oh, wow. Okay. Huh. I guess if it's that close, I'll just go with the one I like more, which is Bowser's Fury. And, we got some bit of answer. Let's say Bowser's Fury.
This one was the opposite a second ago. And at the very last second, I'll just show it. There we go, everybody. Bowser's Fury versus Deathloop. It's coming up on the screen now. I got a vamp a little bit for Mike. Bowser's Fury won with 50.3% of the vote. That one's really close. I wonder if I can... 83 votes for Deathloop, 84 votes for Bowser's Fury.
One vote!
Literally one vote.
Never say your vote doesn't matter. Never say your vote doesn't matter. Wow.
So that was when right before I shut off the voting, it was the other way. Deathloop was in the lead.
Thank God for that person who voted, because now I'm smart again. I think I have a perfect score so far today.
All right, got a couple more. Forza Horizon 5 versus The Artful Escape.
That's Forza easy.
You are correct about that. That was 91% for Forza Horizon 5. And then this I think might be a little... okay. Guardians of the Galaxy versus The Forgotten City.
Sorry, Jeff, that's Guardians.
Yes, that is correct. Let me bring it up all the way up here.
That's the big one I really should have played and just didn't get around to is Guardians. I
68%
feel a little bad about it.
Is Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, I was listening to Player One podcast, former UGM guys, and they all made Guardians of the Galaxy their #1 game of the year.
Man.
So it's like people really love that game. I like it a lot. Some people really love it. So all right, that does it. That and voting's shut off. So these are the final results. We will have the next round next week. So I think in general it's going to be, let's see, Guardians versus Forza.
That's going to be a close one.
Yes, it will. Bowser's Fury versus Psychonauts 2.
I think Bowser's Fury's time is done there, but we'll see.
Yeah, It Takes Two versus Halo Infinite.
Sorry, It Takes Two. You're probably done. So.
Hitman 3 versus Metroid Dread.
Sorry, Hitman 3.
Sorry, I'm Hitman 3, yeah.
That's probably that's like almost... That would be my hardest one, maybe, because those are probably... that we have here, like Endwalker's probably my game of the year, but of those, like everything else we have, those might be my two favorite. That's pretty rough.
Obviously it's going to come down to matchups, but the game that got the most votes this round was Forza Horizon 5 with 155.
It could come down to Forza versus Metroid. It really could.
All right, let me close that down. Okay, all right, cool, excellent. So that was fun. We will have at least 2 more weeks of that. I think that's how it breaks down, right? Because it's going to be 2 matchups, or was it 4 matchups next week? So yeah, we'll probably do that over to the next 2 weeks and finish that up.
When are we doing our? Is it next week we're going to do the Game of the Year podcast, or we want 2 more weeks? When
I think let's do. I thought we might do 2 more. Maybe next week we could do. I was gonna say maybe kind of do the categories, and then maybe our own personal like top 5s or top 10s,
Sure.
and then maybe the next week after that we could just do the whole site like argument podcast. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe we could talk about that on the meeting on Monday. Okay, let's see here. I wanted to do the most anticipated games of the year, and you know what? I could bring that back up. I could just do that. Let's do this here. So. Thank you to Canoodle who kind of reworked this list and kind of broke it down by platform. I moved some stuff around. We've bolded things that we want to talk about. We're probably not going to go too deep on any of these, but we can start by platform. And the one he has listed here first is Xbox. And the first game I have bolded is Redfall. Mike, where are you at with Redfall? We haven't seen much.
Yeah, close to a 0. Close to a 0.
Right.
That big CG trailer did very little for me. I still don't really understand what it is. I'm not a big fan of the whole, gothic horror-y kind of vibe, especially when you try to like punk it up a bit. Like that doesn't do it. Like I'd almost rather it be more pure than that than trying to make it a bit more modern and fun. I don't know. It's not. I'd be surprised if it ends up being my jam. It does not seem like it's going to be my jam.
Right. I think that you are right about that. Where it's hard to know how to be excited about this game when we've seen no gameplay. I agree that trailer did not do much for me.
The trailer seemed like it was mostly concerned with trying to be funny, and I didn't find it very funny. So.
Right, exactly. But I still part of me is like, okay, Microsoft's on a roll right now. Bethesda, Microsoft, they've had a lot of really great games, and it seems like they have found their footing in terms of making sure that the games they release are as good as they possibly can be. Not all of them are going to be Game of the Year contenders, although they did have multiple Game of the Year contenders this year. But and so I'm like almost ready to give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit. But even then, I'm like, let's just wait and see. I'm not just like when it comes to the specifics of Redfall, I am not that excited because I just don't know what to expect. If it's an immersive sim that you play with friends, that sounds like a good idea. But beyond that, I don't know. All right, real quick before we go on, we're gonna take a quick break because my internet just keeps going up and down, and I'm just gonna reset it real quick, and we'll get right back into it. So
maybe Penny will stop barking at nothing,
and then maybe Penny will stop barking too. So everyone, just hang on. Mike will be in the chat. We'll be right back. Okay, Mike. Next up then is Starfield, and I mean. It's kind of similar to Redfall in that we haven't seen a ton of gameplay. We haven't really seen any gameplay. Not really. We've seen some stuff that they said was in-game footage or made in engine. Maybe that's the best way to phrase it. And yeah, I'm very excited about Starfield. Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm more excited about it than I thought I would be. Even just that little bit of it, seeing that they are going for more of that hard sci-fi kind of NASA-y approach, that excites me. I think that could be pretty cool. Plus, this is. I'm very interested to see what the next major Bethesda game looks like after Fallout 4. Really, right? I mean, Fallout 76 was kind of a weird anomaly of weirdness, but Fallout 4 had a lot of criticisms. It had a lot of cracks showing in their formula and in their technology, and I want to see how they revamp that. I want to see if Starfield is sort of their foundation for the next 15 years of Bethesda games, kind of in the way that Oblivion was for the next 15 years after that came out.
Right. I'm right. That's exactly what I'm expecting. I want this to be an Oblivion style moment where they've figured out what their engine needs to be. And they definitely have understood those criticisms. They've made it clear that that's what they've been spending a lot of this time doing, is improving the fundamentals, the foundation of everything. While still maintaining what made those games Bethesda games, being able to pick up everything. They've said that explicitly now. You'll be able to pick up every coffee mug or whatever. And I'm to me, that stuff's very important to making the world feel like a Bethesda game, like a living world, and like having that possibility space be so wide open that kind of anything can happen. And yet, like, going the hard sci-fi route is very enticing, where it's like, hey, maybe there won't even be like space magic. Like maybe they won't even like do like what Mass Effect does, where it's like, we've renamed the Force.
I would be very happy if there is no space magic, Jeff. That would really make my day. But like, who knows?
I mean, I'm sure they'll find ways to like bring those sorts of verbs into it by like giving you guns and stuff that can maybe like push people around and stuff like that, or like. But I still want it to, I don't want it to be the Force. Like I don't want this to be another version of Star Wars. Like let's find something else. Yes. And we don't know. But it seems like they're leaning in that direction. We'll see.
Should certainly be one of the biggest games of the year.
That is coming 11/11/2022. Already has a release date. I guess as we go through these, how confident are you that it makes that release date?
That's a bit off. I think that almost has to be Microsoft's biggest priority. Now, granted, Halo Infinite was their biggest priority at one point, and that got delayed by a whole year. I mean, who knows? I'm relatively confident, though, that we will see it then.
Yeah,
everything can be delayed, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I've said this before, but I think that this is the kind of game where in a different world, they would have just tried to get it out this year and would have had to delay it. And instead, they're like, no, let's pretend we were doing that. Let's work like we were doing that. Get the game ready for the end of 2021, and then spend an extra year making it as good as possible so we don't have a Fallout 76. I think they have tried to learn their lessons, and that doesn't mean that they won't get delayed again. It still very well could. But right now, I'm like, I think they're in a situation where they think they can get this out, and they're pretty confident about it, and that's why they give it a date.
Jeff, Betty White just died, apparently.
Oh, no, that's terrible. Oh,
we were all getting ready for her 100th birthday. She was so close. I mean, I guess that's semantics. Not semantics, I don't know the words, but yeah. Wow, that's
very sad. Betty White is it was the last Golden Girl alive. She was I love that show.
Mary Tyler Moore's show.
Yeah, I mean she's
Hot in Cleveland. No one remembers Hot in Cleveland, but that was the thing.
Yeah, that was like a Nick at Night original, right?
It was a TV Land original.
TV Land, right? Okay, so like when TV Land, when it was Nick at Night on its own channel, basically. That she is a treasure, and we didn't deserve her. And she was funny until the day she died. Like she was every time she spoke, she was hilarious. My wife was like on Reddit the other day, and she's like looking at a thread of people meeting famous people and saying like what they were like in real life. And a bunch of people said Betty White was really, really kind to them and very like charming and stuff in real life when other people could be short or curt or whatever. Yeah, Betty White's fantastic. Has she ever been in a video game? I feel like she's had to have been in a video game.
This is according to TMZ, by the way. Gosh, you would think, Jeff, but I don't think so. Nothing comes to the top of my mind.
Like maybe she was in Matt Hazard with what's his name?
Yeah, you were thinking like that late 2000s period where she started showing up in everything. Like everybody suddenly remembered Betty White. Like she would have been cast in something or another, right? Yeah.
Well, she's a national treasure, and she will be missed. Thanks for letting me know that, Mike, because now I can be sad the rest of the show.
Well, chat was popping off, so I had to say it so that they can get back on top. Now we can talk about video games again. I'm a terrible person.
Well, whatever. We all know that. Ghostwire Tokyo. This is a Xbox game that will be debuting on PlayStation and PC exclusively, and not on Xbox. But coming from Xbox, I don't know what to think about this one. They have shown gameplay. I don't know. This is from the team that made that horror series, and that I can never remember. I want to call it Endless Space, but that's not a horror series.
No. Gosh, now I can't remember. I normally would. I think I made my mom play one of them the one time.
Yes, you did. Yeah. From
honestly, I'm not a big horror
Evil
person.
Evil Within. Yeah.
Yeah. So probably not really my thing unless people like freak out and say it's the best thing ever. Then I will check it out. If it transcends its normal kind of genre fans, then I'll probably check it out. But otherwise,
it looks like an action-based sort of ghost game, though. So it's like might not even be like full-on horror. So that's why it's hard for me to pin it down. But maybe it is more horror than I'm expecting.
That's enough on that.
Next one I have bolded here is Forza Motorsport 8. They haven't confirmed this. This is one that I've heard is coming out next year. I think what is exciting here is that this is them. I think this will be the first full next-gen release of a Forza game where it won't come out on Xbox One. They are specifically taking extra time to rework the engine so that it can take a full advantage of the next gen, platforms. And I think that after we just saw Forza Horizon 5 come out and be so beautiful running on existing technology, what is Forza Motorsport 8 going to look like? And of course, it's a racing game. Racing games always take full advantage of the hardware. That's like one of the reasons they exist. The round tires look, they're rounder than ever. We've had round tires for a while, so now it's like, what can they possibly do to really make this game pop? And I think they'll find ways to do it, and that's why I'm excited.
Yeah, like it sounds almost silly to be excited for a game mostly because of its visuals, but here's a game where I'm mostly just interested in how it looks.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and after Forza Horizon 5, like, I think that's totally fair, because that game was half the fun of playing that was just how beautiful it was to drive around that world. All right, let's move on to some PlayStation games. God of War Ragnarok, Mike. I think, to me, this looks like more God of War. I found the first one not for me, but I don't blame anyone who is excited for it. Where are you at with it?
Yeah, I liked the last God of War a lot, so I'm looking forward to this. I feel like Horizon Forbidden West is almost more interesting in terms of the big sequels we're getting from Sony next year, just because there was more to improve with Horizon 1.
I think that's right.
So yeah. I'm kind of interested to see that and to see where they take it. Whereas God of War Ragnarok, I think it's going to be very good. I think I know where they're going with it. I know what to expect. It'll be a big hit. Yeah,
and I think, they're going to just try to like conclude that story in a satisfying way for people who are showing up for that, and then they'll have cool characters with cool boss fights, and that's great. Horizon Forbidden West is the next game, and that's the one I'm actually more excited about too. I do think they will really figure out this franchise with this game. It looks like they are going to make it more fun to like navigate the world. You have like the glider like from Zelda and stuff like that, and I'm like, that alone, and like the grappling hook that they showed, I'm like, this looks like a ton of fun. I think this is the one where I'm going to jump in and have a really good time. When is that one coming out? That one's like out in April or something.
February.
That's
March,
right, February.
I think it's one of the February boys.
One of the February games, yeah. And the February is very packed, and Horizon Forbidden West, probably the biggest one other than Elden Ring, which was also still coming out in February, I think. We'll get to that one in a bit.
So many things were set for February at some point, then like a couple of them got delayed, and I can't get back to it. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Gran Turismo 7, Mike, kind of the same with Forza Motorsport 8. Yeah. I'm like, I might, and I haven't played a Gran Turismo in a very long time. I am kind of in the mood for one. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because Forza is so big now. And again, the next Forza is going to be like that full-on next-gen thing. And Gran Turismo 7 is going to be playable on a base PlayStation 4 somehow, which still absolutely that shocks me. So we'll see. Gran Turismo 7 has kind of cooled off as a franchise the last decade. It used to be one of the hottest things in the world. So I'll be very curious to see what they can do if they can kind of rev that one up again.
Wow, he said it, everybody. He did it. Get me lubed up for excitement. Am I right?
Don't say lube.
Lube.
No.
The Last of Us 2 factions not confirmed for the year 2022, but you don't care about this one?
Don't care. No, I'm not going to play Last of Us 2's weirdly delayed multiplayer. No. I'll probably just keep playing Halo.
Okay. How tied into The Last of Us 2 do you really think it's going to be? Because I think when it comes out, it's going to be as standalone as they could possibly make it, free to play, have almost nothing to do with like whether or not you own The Last of Us Part 2.
I bet you play as a lot of dirty humans. I think that's how connected it will be.
And I mean, and there's no greater resource for dirty humans on this planet than The Last of Us Part 2. So I mean, I get that.
Absolutely true. Yeah.
Then we have Nintendo's lineup, which I've bolded 100%. I'm excited about all these games. But let's start with the big boy, Kirby Forgotten Land.
Oh Mike. Man, yeah, that's like a top 3 most anticipated game for me. And it's a little risky because they could just completely phone it in, and it could be really simple and disappointing, boring. But there is so much potential with Kirby and Forgotten Land here. I'm really excited. Jeff, you can spell Forgotten right. I believe in you.
I'm not. This is okay. I'm not gonna throw Canoodle under the bus, but this is all.
You kind of did.
Canoodle.
Well, you tried to fix it and you messed up, and then you just
I just got my cursor in the wrong place, and I was like, I'll just.
And now it's the mouse's problem.
Listen, hey, you've seen my aim in games. You bet your ass. Yeah, exactly. I'm an old man.
I can't wait for this. I'm so excited.
Me too. I have faith that they know that if they do a good job of this game, it'll be a huge hit. I think especially after seeing like Kirby so represented on that top 100 list that Japan's gaming fans just did the other day, where it was like number 76 was Kirby's Air Ride, and
Kirby Superstar was on there too.
Kirby Superstar was like even higher and stuff like that. Like it's like there's a huge audience in Japan that really loves Kirby. I think Kirby's popular around the world, and 3D platformers right now have never had a better chance to succeed than right now. So I think if they do a good job with this game, if it gets pretty good reviews, if it gets like 80 plus on Metacritic,
should be the best selling Kirby game ever.
Easily. Yes, I really think easily it could be. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think is actually what this one.
Yeah, you're right. That's right. Pokemon Legends Arceus. This game's coming out in like a few weeks. I mean, weeks. That's weird. Man, this is another one, man. This could be anywhere. This could come out and be a total, well, this is kind of a weird half-baked idea that's not running very well on the Switch, and I don't know, or this could be a very big deal.
This is like, is this still coming out in January, or did this one get moved to February?
It's coming out in January, I think.
January 28th. So like, yeah, we're like 30 days away from this coming out, basically. That is nuts. That's really weird. Like we could almost like, next week we could like come in and we could get like a review. Well, not us, but people could get review code. I guess I'm like, I started pretty high on this one because I'm like, I think they're gonna go for it, but then I kind of remembered it's still Game Freak. It's still them, a Pokemon company, being sort of afraid to go full bore and to fully invest in something new for Pokemon. I think they've said like the areas, it's not gonna be like a full open world. It's still gonna be kind of smaller areas that are a little bit more open, and not that can't work. Obviously that's worked for like Monster Hunter in the past, and it's worked with like recent Pokemon games even. I don't know, but I just think I had bigger hopes for this game, and now I'm expecting less than what I was expecting when they first announced it.
Yeah,
what's that?
I've seen so little of it, really. It's coming out in a month. Like I'm shaky on it. We'll see.
Right, and the things we've seen often were like, oh, you know, they're showing this off and that frame rate looks pretty rough and stuff, like, right? I mean, and not that stuff won't get fixed between now and when it comes out. That stuff usually happens, but when they show it off, typically the frame rate's not that bad. Like they'll find ways to like buff up the frame rate. So it's like, I don't know. And, you know, the world looks barren and stuff like that. The world looks
barren. There's like, you know, the shitty low-res blades of grass, and there aren't very many of them, stuff like that. We'll see.
Right.
I'm more excited about this next one. That's for sure.
Splatoon 3 is the next one. Yeah. How are you feeling about it?
I'm pretty excited for that. Splatoon 2, I feel like kind of gets underappreciated. People forget how good it was just because it came out in between Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey that year. But that was a very good game. And Splatoon 3, I feel like, is going to build on that and be even better. We're going to have another great single-player campaign, a ton of fun multiplayer modes. I can't wait to find out who the 2 new Squid DJs are going to be, even stupid stuff like that. Here's a game where the customization is actually a lot of fun. Like, it's in Halo, it's like there's all this customization. I was like, I just need to look like Master Chief with a different color, really. But here's like the whole fashion is a big part of the game anyway, so all that stuff is actually a lot more enticing and interesting. So yeah, I'll be looking just to look at all my hats I can get and stuff. In
Splatoon 3, people will only get mad if there aren't like 50 cat ear options. Like, right, that's the difference here. I am excited for everything having to do with Splatoon 3. I cannot wait to get back into a super hopping online multiplayer mode again with that game, because went back to Splatoon 2 recently. That's still so much fun, and I mean, it'd be ideal if if Nintendo could really get their online figured out, kind of make it like so people want to stick and play that game for longer than they did last time. But then like I think the single player campaign is going to be more robust, more significant than it's ever been, and it's always been great. The last 2 games have had really good single player campaigns. I think the promise they were kind of making with the trailer for the first trailer for this game was there's going to be even more to the lore, and we're going to explore that in the single player campaign. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. That's entirely possible, but that's where I am in terms of my hopes with this game. So
usually it's like they barely even talk about the single player campaigns, and they just are there and they're really good. With Splatoon 3, they kind of led with it in the marketing. Yeah.
So I mean, at least that's what it feels like. So hopefully that's what we'll see. Bayonetta 3. We don't need to talk about this one, right? This is
no, who cares about that? Sorry, no,
Rachel's in chat, so we're just trolling her.
Yeah, no, this should be the best-selling Bayonetta 3, or Bayonetta 3, best-selling Bayonetta game ever. That's for sure.
Yeah, the anticipation for this one's very high. It's been years since we heard about it. It does feel like this game will come out in 2022 finally. I guess have they said that? They did say that at this point, right? That's coming in 2022.
They said just 2022. I can't remember. Yeah,
right.
So it's probably summer. Yeah,
probably like by summer we'll have heard about it, like and gotten a date for it. But yeah, I'm excited. I love Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 1 wasn't one I ever clicked with. Bayonetta 2 I fell in love with. If they kind of keep going in that direction, I imagine I'll love Bayonetta 3 as well. Breath of the Wild 2. Here's one. I mean, obviously we're excited about. Let's start with this. Do you expect this to come out in 2022?
Yes, I expect this to come out and be the big fall Nintendo Switch game, and it's probably going to be pretty good, right? Like, how are they going to mess this one up? I tell you what, the only weird thing is, I'm not sure what exactly I'm expecting anymore, because for so long I was expecting that kind of like not like easy sequel because it was so fast between the two, but there's been so much more time. And that's really probably just more to do with how much longer games take to make anymore and COVID and other things. So maybe I shouldn't like expand my expectations because the wait has been longer than I thought. But even if it is just Breath of the Wild 1 with like some changes to the map and some new mechanics and maybe larger like real dungeons, that'll be more than enough for me.
Yeah, I'm ready to see like the new characters that they're exploring or whatever. Like if they're like bringing in Ganon in some real way, what that looks like in terms of like meeting him across the storyline and the way that reanimated corpse from the first trailer is like, what is going on there? I do want to know what's going on with that story.
God, that first trailer is so long ago.
Yeah, I know, very long time ago. But then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, if it's just more Breath of the Wild with like new ideas in the same way Super Mario Galaxy 2 was that, well, I mean, then I'm ready to buckle up for this game so hard, because Super Mario Galaxy 2 is one of the best games ever made because it was exactly that, just more ideas from this great foundation, and I think this could do the same thing. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, and I just want to say, like, at this point, I'm like already like, you know, we got a couple games left here on this list, but like already this is a really strong year for Nintendo, right?
Yeah, I know you could kind of say that this year was maybe a little bit on the weaker side for them, and I think it's a fair point to make. But yeah, the next year is looking like it could be pretty nuts. So
yeah. So where are you at with Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope?
like, I'm not, I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be very much more of the same thing, and that'll be fine. Like, that game was a lot of fun. I could still do without the Rabbids, I suppose, right? And I'm not expecting some like great narrative, right? Like, that was a disappointing thing in Mario and Rabbids, right? Like, the narrative sure was a big nothing burger. You know, it's just an excuse to go and fight more things, and that's fine. Yeah, this will be fun. I'm not sure if I'm like, I'm not chomping at the bit for it. We'll see. We'll see if they come out and have some ways to surprise people with it. But I'm certainly expecting Mario and Rabbids too.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. I think that the Donkey Kong DLC I think was a bit of a tease almost, because I'm like, oh man, yeah, if they go further in this direction with like more Mario characters and Mario Universe characters, they could do something really good. And it's like, okay, here's the next game, and it's basically just a sequel to the first game without it, like acknowledging any of the Donkey Kong stuff. I'm hoping that there's more than meets the eye with this, but at the same time, I really like the first game. I am more accepting of the Rabbids than I've ever been in my life, just because my kids have occasionally watched the Nickelodeon cartoon show and seem to enjoy it. And so I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll put it on the TV, and hey, do you want to watch me play this Rabbids game or something like that? Like, I think that'll be fine. But otherwise, it's like, yeah, okay. Once that game comes out, that's when I'll start actually getting excited about it. For again, right now, I'm gonna keep forgetting about it, which is what has happened to me like so far with this game. Advance Wars Reboot Camp. We don't have to talk about this too much. This was supposed to come out early in December. It got delayed. I believe they haven't given an exact date for it, but the leak timeline seems to be April. I'm ready for it. Obviously, I'm a huge Advance Wars fan. I think most people know that. How about you, Mike? Do you care about? Are you going to check in on Advance Wars with this game?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to check in for sure. I'm excited. I think it's going to be cool to see. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a good one to play here and there a bit. And I never actually like beat the campaigns of these games, so no, I'm into it.
The Pokemon trading card game Live is on this list, Mike. Is that something new?
Yeah, they're trying again to make like a digital version of the trading card game. They kind of had a weird web browser one that was fine. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm excited. If it comes out and people say like, "Oh, this is actually great," then sure. But otherwise,
I think I'd rather like just Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy come to Nintendo Switch Online. That's what I would like.
I'd rather just buy that cartridge again and play it on my analog pocket.
Yeah, God, that sounds like actually a really good time. I might do that. Metroid Prime Remake, not confirmed, or remake/remaster. I think it's close to a remaster. I've said that before. They haven't confirmed that. It's probably coming out next year. Mike, are you excited?
Oh yeah, gosh, absolutely. I mean, the only thing that's stopping me is that it hasn't been announced, and because I am a little bummed we're not getting 2 at least, and 3, but still, Metroid Prime Remake. little scared because of that remake thing. Like, what are they doing? Metroid Prime's already pretty good. You don't need to do too much. Like, please. Like, I don't. I bet they're going to mess around with that thing at the end where you have to go around and hunt for like the artifacts, the hologram things or whatever. And like, you shouldn't. That was actually good game design all along. Like, I like that. I still never understand why people complained about that.
I mean, and honestly, like you say that, and it's like I don't even remember people complaining all that much about that. It was, I mean, some people have, but I know they do, but it's not like even like people complained about the end of Wind Waker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Wind Waker was actually a bit of a slog there, and because it literally did feel like filler because they cut 2 dungeons out of it. So sure, but yeah, it was never a problem with me for Metroid Prime. I want to see it. I want to see it real bad. I want it to get announced. Yeah,
and I'm actually more excited about other people getting a chance to play this because I just went back and played it on Dolphin like earlier this year and loved it. It's like it is timeless. It is one of the first timeless games ever made. I think like. It's a game that I think 20 years from now, people are still going to be able to go back and play the GameCube version, and it will be just completely fine. Like, you'll have so much fun with it, period. Like, it's timeless. All right, Mike, for the rest of this list, I'm going to say the name, and then you're going to tell me if you want me to stop or just keep going, okay? And if we want to talk about it, you let me know, and if not, you just say pass. All right. Triangle Strategy.
I think I'm less interested in this than most people just because I wasn't that into Octopath Traveler. And again, I think the name is very stupid. It certainly looks pretty. I want to believe. We'll see.
Right. I'm glad they're still. I'm glad they're finding uses for that art style because it's that art style is very good. I hope that this one is going to win me over because the last attempts at this art style have not. Forspoken.
That one's rough. I don't know if I'm excited for it per se. Again, I'm interested to see what people say of it. I'm interested to try it for sure. So I guess that's kind of like being excited, huh?
I'm more excited because of it looks like there's going to be a lot of platforming almost. Like it almost looks like Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, where there's a lot of like parkour stuff happening. And if a lot of the game is that stuff, I mean I feel like we don't get a ton of that anymore. And so I'll be very into it. I don't know if that's going to jive with the wider audience that Square Enix is going for though. So whatever. Final Fantasy Origin.
Jesus Christ, this game. God, this one's also coming out relatively soon. It's like March or something. I'm definitely gonna have to play this thing, huh? We'll see. I wonder how people are going to react to it because I feel like I am certainly going to think that the gameplay is good and that the story is stupid and awful and embarrassing. And I feel like a lot of people are going to find it endearing, and because they're laughing at it, have fun with it.
Right.
But I don't know. Again, because I think I just like Final Fantasy too much to appreciate it that way. I'll just get mad at it. We'll see. It's gonna be a wild one.
Yep, you just love it too much. Final Fantasy 16. We kind of talked about this in the news.
If it does come out next year, that's my number one most anticipated. But I'm not sure.
But we have no idea, right? Gotham Knights.
What do you think about Gotham Knights?
I mean, I feel like pass is how I feel. Like we could just pass on this one because, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gotham Knights is from WB Montreal. Like their Batman game was, it was fine, whatever. I don't know. I just feel like if it's so focused on cooperative play, I mean, it seems like Suicide Squad is the same thing, just with different characters.
Yeah, I have a crew, but I also don't really care that much.
Right. I guess that covers Suicide Squad. You have anything to say about Suicide Squad?
No, I feel pretty much the same way, pretty similar. I'll be honest. I mean, probably tonally, I like it even less, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too. I mean, if these games come out, or if we get like a review copy and I check it out, I'm fully like ready and willing to be won over by both of these games. And I'm ready to hear people say, no, you have to try it. But at the present time, based on what we've seen, it's not like striking any fires in my heart. That's all.
Yeah, I will say one more thing about of all the places you could have taken the next Batman game, that's not the way I would have gone. Like co-op with like the Batman's friends.
Yeah,
not really what I wanted.
Right, with the Bat Kids. I think that's a big part of it for me as well. And we talk about this every week, how like, oh, when it doesn't have the character in it, you're not playing as the character in the next game, it kind of feels weird to me and I don't get as excited. Sure. That's definitely happening with both of these games, actually.
Imagine if they like brought it like back and like made something really Arkham Asylum-y against it, and then that really was like a bit more contained in Metroid Prime-y. Like how
right. I mean, yeah, or like in like just Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which was very Star Wars Arkham Asylum-y and its in its structure and stuff like that. I'm like, those games are very good, and it would be, please do more of that. And Arkham Asylum is my favorite one, so of course that's how I feel. Hogwarts Legacy.
No idea what to think of this. No idea. I mean, we still don't really know what it is. There's so many like, what is a Harry Potter game, right? Like a lot of things that I like about Harry Potter and most people like about Harry Potter is like the more just like, I'm in this school. I don't actually want to go to like classes or stuff.
I don't play Persona, Mike, but could it be like Persona?
It should be at least a bit like Persona. It absolutely should be like
that's kind of what I think it has to be, like for this to really work.
It's going to be. I think it's going to somehow be an open world action game.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, because it just feels like you could be building relationships, not just with like other students, but with like teachers, and that's like how you pass your classes, and but there's like an ongoing mystery, and like these two things are happening in parallel. I haven't played Persona, but that's kind of how people have described it, I think. And like you're going down these two paths of like being in the school, and then there's like this action adventure part happening over here, this RPG happening.
I mean, it should be a lot like Persona, because Persona 3 had like the one dungeon, right? And there should be something here like you find a weird door in Hogwarts, and it takes you to a big dungeon, and you and a few friends are working your way through that dungeon the entire school year, and it should be almost exactly like Persona 3 is what it should be.
Radu Paragal says it should be like Persona, but with heart,
Yeah, but even more heart.
Even more heart. I guess we'll have to see for ourselves that it's not anything like what we just described at all.
I bet it won't be.
I bet it won't be.
I bet you'll be sorted into a house because they have to do that.
Yeah.
And there'll be like some bullshit where you get house points, but it won't. I don't know.
Multiverses. I didn't bold it, but why not?
Nah, I mean, I don't know. Whatever.
Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga.
Also a whatever, and I'm not quite sure why people seem to be ravenous for this one.
I think it's a lot of people who grew up playing Lego Star Wars games, Mike. I think that's what that is.
I did too, and I liked it, but I also
you weren't a boy though. You were like kind of like a young man when those games were coming out.
I had a pretty extended adolescence though. So.
That's fair. That's a very good point. This is extended to this day.
Yes, that's true.
Ubisoft games, I'm just pretty much skipping all these. Roller Champions, Mike, you've played that before, right?
Yeah, that was fun. I'm shocked that game's not out yet. But,
Yeah. It's a weird one.
Is Avatar have no chance of coming out next year?
I guess I wouldn't say that. I think that was on a different list that he was like, maybe. Yeah, what do you think about Avatar?
That'll be interesting. I mean, it's probably it's going to be an Ubisoft game, right? Like, that's the problem with Ubisoft games. There is that monotony to, is that the word? Yeah, there's the sameness to all of them, and I don't know. I bet the Avatar game will look pretty.
Dead Space, which is one that I think has a chance of still coming out in 2022, but probably will get delayed.
I bet we don't see this one in 2022.
Probably right. Doke V.
What?
Do you remember what Doke V is? The one with the dancing children who have two realistic faces, and it always shows up at like the Game Awards in summer. Okay, moving on.
Okay, yes, I kind of do remember. I don't care about it, but I remember
of course
it.
Not. Yeah, it's horrifying. All right, then I have a list of games that aren't from any single publisher. Dying Light 2, I'm excited. Mike, I don't know if you have much of an opinion.
No, I feel like I should like these games because people compared the first one to Mirror's Edge, but the zombie thing just sure doesn't do anything for me. So
right.
Probably not. We'll see. Maybe if it's like it comes out, people say it's absolutely amazing. I'll check it out.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm not the biggest Souls guy, but this somehow seems to be transcending even that already large audience. This seems like it's going to be a big event. So I'm like looking forward to it. I'm curious to see what this is going to be like.
Yeah, I think the open world has a real chance of unlocking the full potential of a Soulsborne game, where people finally like people that always kind of bounced stuff were like, oh, I mean, I have options here, and I feel good about bringing my friends in to help me because it's this open world game, and it almost feels like it could be co-op in a way that Dark Souls never really felt great as a co-op game, because I always felt like guilty, like I was cheating. I think this game is going to like solve a lot of like mental blocks people have with Soulsborne games. It's probably gonna be the best selling one ever, I think. Stalker 2. I have still never played the Stalker games, and I feel like that's my that's my like gaming resolution for next year. If we want to do anything like that, is to play the Stalker games and then get ready for Stalker 2. But that NFT stuff definitely soured me on Stalker 2 a little bit.
Rough, huh?
Yep. Saints Row. How are you feeling about the new reboot of Saints Row, Mike?
Not great, I don't think. I'm kind of like you, where I associate Saints Row with that ridiculousness, and I was kind of excited to see them push it even further instead of just like, we can't push it further, so we're scaling it way back with like the hippest characters we can think of. I don't know. Right. There's something seems it probably will still be fun. It probably will still be good, but it probably won't be exactly what I'm looking for in that series.
My reservations come from, like it's not what I wanted for sure, but that doesn't mean it can't be good. I'll say what I'm excited about. That Southwest aesthetic. It does look like Santa Fe, New Mexico. It does look like Albuquerque. And I just visited there, and to see that stuff represented so coolly in the game, I'm excited about that stuff. My reservations all come from the characters feeling like, you remember when that Pepsi commercial came out with that one Kardashian sibling, where she was like going to be a protester, and then she gave the cop a Pepsi or something. All the characters feel like that to me right now, and
they sure do.
And that's a big problem, because the characters, while all douchebags in the previous Saints Row games, were very charming douchebags, and that's a real tough road to hoe. And it's starting from scratch on that stuff's going to be really challenging. Maybe they pulled it off. I will try it out for myself. I'm ready to be won over, but right now it just does not feel like they've gotten that. All right, we got a bunch of games left, so let's do it even faster. Marvel's Midnight Suns. Excited to know?
I'm gonna say no. I'm going to say no.
I think that you are not alone in that, Mike. I'm ready to give that game a chance, but that might just be because like I was like talking about that game before like it was announced. So
you feel you have an attachment to it.
Yeah, like an ownership over it that makes no sense. Exactly. There's the Avatar 2, Callisto Protocol. You don't think we're gonna get Dead Space? Do you think we get Callisto Protocol?
I also
spiritual
think
successor.
No.
Okay.
I think no.
I'm excited about that because it takes place in the PUBG universe, and I have to know what that means.
Yeah, Gollum is a big no. That whole thing seems weird to me still. I don't know about you, but Gollum seems.
I think
bizarre.
It looks. I don't know. If part of me like likes the way it looks, I think they're trying to make Gollum cute, and I think that has like some implications about what they're going for. But the gameplay seemed like a Dungeon Master or Dungeon Keeper, right, where you're setting up traps and stuff, and I don't know if that's going to work for me. Sonic Frontiers.
Well, for that, I want to say Metal Slug Tactics is actually one I'm really excited for.
Yes.
That should be amazing. I'm more excited for that than Triangle Strategy, actually. Even.
Yes. Yeah.
So, we'll see. Sonic Frontiers, I want to be excited about, but this is ultimately still like this is the team that made Sonic Forces, right? So I don't know. I'm excited that we're doing a kind of gameplay reboot,
right? And
we're doing the more open world thing. We'll see. There's potential, but I'm incredibly skeptical.
All right. Let me know if you see anything else. I'm jumping down to Arc Raiders. I'm excited based on that trailer we got at the Game Awards. And it seems like it's a Nexon game. It's probably going to be free to play. And to me, that makes it like, oh, okay, we can get everyone to play that in the Discord or whatever, and maybe have a couple of cool nights. And it just looks really solid on a tech level. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it was a big surprise at the Game Awards. So
someone bolded here, SpongeBob with a cosmic shakeup.
I did it. I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, we had so many of these kind of just like licensed 3D platformers in that GameCube era, and I think it's really interesting that we're bringing that back a bit. Like we're making a new SpongeBob 3D platformer. I think this could be a sleeper hit. I think this could be pretty interesting.
Radu wanted to know why Metal Slug Tactics was not bolded, and I do feel bad about that now. It should be bolded.
Yeah, Jeff told me to go through and bold anything he didn't bold. I just didn't see it at first, but
and
I
was just like, I'm definitely excited about it. It's almost like I'm just like waiting for it so hard that I don't want to think about it again because I'm like, it's too far away. I was really
hoping that one would have come out this year when they first announced it, but
absolutely,
it's going to be good.
Rumbleverse is that wrestling battle royale one from Iron Galaxy. They did a test of it. I watched some people play. I haven't played it myself, but because there's no guns, it's all wrestling moves. Something about it seems like even more appealing to me.
I heard about this. That sounds kind of I'm literally wearing a wrestling shirt right now.
So it was announced at the Game Awards, and I think it was like hard to put a gauge on. It was hard to like figure out what it was. But it's like once I realized, it's all just cool like wrestling moves in an open world city, and it's a battle royale. I'm like, that's actually a really good idea. So I think we'll get that full release, or at least like an early access release, sometime in 2022, and I'll be checking that out. Some indie games, Silk Song, Mike.
But isn't it funny that probably may not come out in 2022? I don't know. It's got to come out in 2022. I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly, I really don't. I'm certainly hoping it does. I'm looking forward to it. If it does come out, it will be one of my most anticipated games of the year, I guess. But it's just bizarre to me that we haven't even heard about this game in so long. So I don't know.
Sifu is one that I've played. I think I still have like the demo version. I could go play that again right now. Just play that level again. One of my most anticipated games of early next year, just based on what I've played of that game so far. It's going to be really good, I think. Iodine Chronicles Rising is a gorgeous looking game. But other than that, I don't. It's probably not going to be for me.
The Suikoden one, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I want that to be good. Those Kickstarter things can be shaky. You can you could get a Mighty Number 9, or you can get a Bloodstain. You don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and I think if people haven't seen, like, just go look up images of Iuden, Eiyuden.
Watch that trailer because it looks so good in motion. It's incredible.
Yes, it's one of the best looking games coming up. And then let's see here, River City Girls 2. Does anyone care about that?
I care about that. I'm super excited. That's going to be fantastic. River City Girls 1 is so good, and I'm super excited just to have more of that.
Is River City Girls 0 a demake?
River City Girls 0 is one of the Super Famicom games in the franchise that never got localized before. And it's getting localized for the first time, so
I had no idea.
That as well. This is the first game that the two the two girls from River City Girls, I think, first were playable characters in. So we're gonna get that one now.
That's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Sea of Stars. It's another very good looking indie RPG thing. That's another one. If you haven't seen that, go look up the video.
This is
of that.
One from the Messenger people. The Messenger is definitely one of my favorite indie games of the last decade. So I'm looking forward to this.
This is easily one of my most anticipated games. Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, according to Knuble here. Shredder's Revenge is we still don't have a date. It's just 2022, but it's supposed to come out next year. This is one that I thought they might have said was first coming out at the end of this year, and so hopefully it comes out early 2022.
I don't know if they did ever say that, Jeff. Maybe you're right. I can't remember now.
Know, maybe it's just in my heart, but I just don't want to wait very much longer for this game. I am so ready to play it. I'm just like, the recent beat 'em ups have all been so good, and this one has a legacy there, and I just hope they nail it. I hope they get it exactly right. I'm
super pumped for this one.
It's that team that always does these. So who's making this?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm blanking now. I wanted to say Way Forward, and that's absolutely not right. I don't know. Not Lizard Cube. That's the developer.
Right. It's .emu. .emu is the publisher. And they're working with Tribute Games, and Tribute's done some other.
What else? I can't remember. Yeah. This should be. Yeah. I can't wait. I tell you what, man. I didn't know you can make a sprite look so thick, but they sure did a good job of putting April in this game.
Sports Story. I'm excited about that, but I mean, it's the same thing as Silk Song. When is that going to come? But when it comes, I'll be right there. I started replaying Golf Story a few months ago and really enjoyed my time with that again. Shovel Knight Dig. I did mix this up with another, like the Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon.
I got mad at you listening to Grubb Snacks the other day because you thought that this was Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, you idiot.
What is Shovel Knight Dig? I can't remember what Shovel Knight Dig even is.
Shovel Knight Dig is the one that looks like Mr. Driller. Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon is the puzzle one.
Okay. Huh. There's so many Shovel Knight things.
Expanded Shovel Knight universe. It's happening.
Apparently.
Pocket Dungeon is very good. I need to play that.
I know. I'm like, I got it, and I need to actually play it. The Anacrusis, it's another one of those 4-player Left 4 Dead things. You kind of have to wait to know
about this one.
You have to wait to see if people actually do enjoy playing it before you know for sure at this point. But I'm hopeful, and I'm ready to give it a shot. Mike, that does it though. Any other games you can think of?
No, I think that Cuphead DLC will be fun. It'll be more Cuphead. Those are. I guess, what are your top 3? I think my top 3 are River City Girls 2. Do I even consider Silk Song? I don't know. Kirby and Final Fantasy 16, if that has a chance of coming out. I'll say Final Fantasy 16, Kirby, and River City Girls 2 are my 2 most anticipated right now.
Yeah, I'd say my top 3 is probably Starfield, and then.
I mean, Breath of the Wild 2,
Breath of the Wild 2 kind of goes without saying at a certain point. Like, yeah, if that's coming, then yes, that's my number 1. But my number 1, not including that, is Starfield, Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, and yeah, I'll say Sifu because just because I had such a good time with that. So yeah, that's my top 3 right now.
I'll say for Sifu.
But it's like I could also go for Advance Wars Reboot Camp, Splatoon 3, Kirby. There's just that Metroid Prime remaster. There's so many games coming out next year that I'm excited about. But yeah. And I hope everything that we talked about turns out to be good. Like, that's my big thing. I'm like, hey, I hope Redfall's as good as it could be and all these other things. So I'm excited for next year. There's a lot of games coming out that are worth looking forward to.
Yeah, it should be a good year. We had a good year this year, and it doesn't seem like the momentum's good. So not usually that third kind of second big year, whatever it is. Like, we're getting into this console generation now,
Yes.
and that's when things pick up, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so Mike, we got some super chats in, and actually Radu Pericol Tignasis, I can't say his last name. Tiganes is what I'm going to say it. He has answers to this question as well. He's given his picks for next year. So if you want to start there, feel free.
Yeah. If anybody else wants to do it, you can send a super chat. If you want to ask us a question, you can send a super chat. If you just want to say anything and have us read it on air, we will do that if you send it in a super chat. Radu says Stray. Yeah, Stray is actually one we kind of even talk about, but a lot of people are looking forward to Stray. That's the one where you place the cat. UFO 50 and Little Devil Inside are my picks. Also very happy to have discovered the Grubb family of entertainment products in 2021. Cheers. Just cheers to you as well. Thank you very much. Radu. Yes, we had a lot of well-wishing and people talking about anticipated games. Uriel Delgado said his most anticipated game is Starfield, A New Era. Yeah, I think that's what's so exciting about that. It's just, again, like, what's the future of these Bethesda games going to look like? Because from this, we'll get a pretty good idea of what Elder Scrolls 6 is going to look like and what probably even Fallout 5 is going to look like. Isaac Spencer says, Happy New Year's Eve. Hope you all have a great 2022. You as well, Isaac.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Mr. Miracle says, when is the next big event from the big three? Well, we're expecting some kind of a Nintendo Direct probably in January, right?
February, probably. January, February. Either are possible. We don't know for sure.
Yeah. What about the other two? When do you think they're going to do anything?
I don't know. I think that Sony will probably have a PlayStation Direct, State of Play, whatever they call them. And they'll probably have one before the end of spring, or maybe before the beginning of spring. So maybe by like March or something like that. So
they got to say something during all of winter, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I mean, they have big games coming out pretty soon. So they have Horizon in February. So if they just focus on selling Horizon, maybe we get something like right after that comes out. Like, that seems right.
Okay. Wolf Assassin says, now that Psychonauts 2, Forza Horizon 5, and Halo Infinite have launched, what do you think could/should appear at E3? He didn't say from Microsoft, but I feel like he means Microsoft specifically if he mentioned those other ones. But we should probably see a lot more Redfall, like actual gameplay stuff at E3.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, by then, because that game will be right upon us by E3. So E3 for them is going to be a lot. They'll probably do like one last show of Redfall. They'll have a lot to show for Starfield. Like, that is going to be the big blowout for Starfield. But then I expect new trailers for Perfect Dark and for Fable and stuff like that. And what's the other fantasy one that I can't remember right now.
Oh no,
Avowed.
The one that Obsidian's working.
Avowed, right? You're right. Yeah, you got it. That's
I always get
Obsidian.
Avowed mixed up with the thing that Rare was working on that got
Everwild. Yeah, I don't expect anything new from Everwild. Yeah.
Good morning, Game says, Happy New Year, fellas. What game from 2021 did you enjoy the most without expecting to? Mine was Toem for Switch. I just loved how chill it was. I mean, mine was Halo Infinite. I'm not a big Halo guy, but that one was great. And I think the answer for a lot of people for this one is Guardians of the Galaxy. It's probably your answer, right, Jeff?
Yeah. What was the question? I'm sorry, I was trying to figure out how to pronounce Radu's name. Like, reading it here. He's like,
why? You don't even need to say it. Why? We went over that so long ago.
Well, they're still talking about chat. I feel, hey, my guilt lives with me forever, so don't worry.
What game from 2021 did you enjoy the most without expecting to?
Yeah, so this is gonna be a category on the podcast next week, I think. But I'm out. Guardians of the Galaxy. I had like below no hopes for that. I was expecting it to be a bad game, and it was very surprising. So yeah.
Eric Franklin says, question, what are your heights? I guess 6'4" for Jeff and 5'7" for Mike. I'm pretty Wow. Okay, I'm kind of upset about this. I'm kind of upset that everyone assumes that you tower over
Yeah,
me.
that's not right. Yeah, but it's like like the hurt in your face was real.
Yeah. What? How tall are you?
I'm 6 feet exactly. Exactly 6 feet tall.
Okay. Well, I'm what 5'10", 5'11", so I'm slightly less tall than Jeff. It's borderline. He doesn't tower over me.
No, I tower over no one.
And Seven Mickle asks, just wanted to wish you. Oh no, it doesn't ask. It's a statement. Just wanted to wish you guys a happy New Year and thank you for 2021. Thank you for 2021. Actually, do you want to be responsible for 2021? I don't know.
Please no.
AG Aragon says, I am hoping Capcom does a Mega Man Battle Network and Star Force compilation this year. Yeah, I have one friend who absolutely loves those games, and they would be very excited if that happened. I don't know why not. Why not make a Mega Man Battle Network compilation? At least Battle Network, that would be so easy. Like
Right.
Star Force is DS stuff, so it gets more complicated. The Battle Network games, though, that'd be easy as all hell. And that's it for the super chats for now, Jeff.
I have questions from the community. Let's get into them. Let's start with let's actually start here with Cranjus McBasketball. What do you think E3 even looks like in 2022? Will it even be in person? Would anyone even go to an in-person event?
I think it's gonna look a lot like it did last year, Jeff.
Yeah, it's
maybe
like
a bit more in-person-y things. I don't know.
I think there will be some in-person stuff. At a certain point, people are going to just start ripping off the Band-Aid and being like, "Hey, we think this pandemic is going to become endemic, and it's going to be a lot like the flu. And at a certain point, we're just going to have to live with it." And it does happen in the summer, which should be a low point for infections. And everyone should be able to get what's going to happen is they'll probably do an in-person event. You'll have to get a negative test. You'll have to prove that you have the vaccine and probably a booster shot, and maybe by then another booster shot. Maybe a variant specific booster, and if you could provide all that stuff, then you go to the in-person event. But at the same time, like, our company's going to be sending their employees. That's going to be the big liability aspect of it. That's going to be tough.
I wonder if it's going to be more, it used to be, it was all hands on deck. Everybody went,
right,
pretty much. I wonder if it's going to be more like people are going to send one or two people to E3. I don't know.
Yep, exactly.
I just hope GDC doesn't happen, because I'm not going to Game Developers Conference. So you can go.
And I feel like Games Developer Conference is one that can be more virtual, right? And you get a lot of stuff out of it just being virtually attending, but whatever.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Jedi Moss 4. Recently, Nintendo has commented on how difficult it has been to keep up with supply and demand for the Switch thanks to the chip shortage and the pandemic. Should we be concerned that these issues are going to delay the successor to the Switch or an enhanced Switch even further and create a conundrum for Nintendo and its partners? I don't think it would cause any sort of massively significant delay. It might cause more significant supply issues of that successor, but I don't think they'd push out the successor because of what's happening with the chip shortage. The thing is that getting a new chip manufactured is a challenge no matter what. And bringing that stuff online is a challenge no matter what. There's not a lot of point in trying to put that off to be like, oh, we're going to wait for better times in the future. That's another thing where you kind of just have to rip off the Band-Aid and do it. And you need to get in line with the people that actually manufacture this stuff and say, hey, I want to reserve my spot. We're going to be a prime customer for you so that you give us preferential treatment. You kind of you can't give up your spot in line and be like, we're going to put this stuff off and we'll come back to you later. Someone else will jump ahead of you and cause even more problems down the line. So I think that they will just bite the bullet and do what they have to, and probably just accept any sort of supply constraints that might happen on the other side.
Sounds right to me.
From Gerbear, Happy New Year, everybody, except Bobby Kotick. Fuck that guy. I've got a simple question to end the year with. Will Stadia Pro still be a thing at the end of 2022, or will Google have announced that it's on its way out? It's technically the best streaming service on the market, but it seems to have zero momentum. Wavetail from Thunderful is a lovely game anyone who has Stadia Pro should play. I didn't even know that they published that game. I will check that out. I don't know if I have Stadia Pro anymore. I hope I don't, because that means I've been spending money on something I haven't used in a year. I bet by the end of 2022 we will have heard that Stadia Pro is coming to its official conclusion.
I still get a PR person who will not yell at me, but correct me if I write a story about a game and I list the platforms it's on and I don't list Stadia and it's one of them. It's just
I mean,
so
listen,
bad.
Google's still paying that PR firm. That person's just doing their job, right?
Oh
like,
no, I don't blame them at all, but
Yep.
it does make me feel bad. Like I feel bad for them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as long as Google's continued to pay an external PR firm, maybe that's a sign that things will continue for a little bit longer, or maybe that contract's just still going. Whatever.
Oh, maybe
it is.
it's like you with your Stadia Pro. Maybe they just forgot that they're paying them.
It's re-upping. Yeah. From Louis Patelli, Happy New Year, fellas. No questions this week. I just wanted to say thanks for all the laughs and the gaming discussions this year. This podcast has been one of my favorite parts of 2021. Here's to 2022, and for hoping that Starfield makes its release date. Salud. Thank you, Louis. We appreciate that. Salud.
Mi familia. The Rock, you have to come back, brother, or else the ghost of Paul Walker will be mad.
From Lausian, hey guys, hope you are having a good week and have fun plans for New Year's Eve. I just finished Infamous Second Son on my PS5. I enjoyed it.
Wow.
The game's a good length. It finished before the open world fatigue set in. I'm wondering what video game best defines the open world concept before Breath of the Wild redefined the genre. There's probably like a couple answers to this question. How about, what do you
Far
have?
Cry 3 was the big one that defined that whole genre for a long time. Like that, Ubisoft still can't get away from it, and there's still a lot of games that are kind of doing that. Even like Halo Infinite is still kind of following. Like it has a lot of Breath of the Wild influence, but a lot of it is still also Far Cry 3 influence, really.
Yeah, I think the other big answer that I would have would be Oblivion, because I think Oblivion figured out, like, by giving you so many options and providing an open world where so many things were possible, it made like something like, I remember what I did was I immediately like got my thieving skills up high and would just sneak into people's house in like the main city and steal stuff. And then I found the fence, and it was not part of any quest or anything yet. I was just like exploring this world, but it felt like I was doing something meaningful because I was ignoring all these other things. And I think that Oblivion was the first game to really nail that thing, that nailed that feeling of like, this really is a world where if you are ignoring things, you're making a conscious choice to do so and defining your own adventure. And then they've only built on that since. From Schaefer, Happy New Year. I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thanks for the podcast and the work both of you do. And here's to a hopefully great 2022. Thank you, Schaefer. And I hope you have a new Happy New Year as well. Okay, back up to the top here. This one's from Nick Turbo. He says he gives 2021 a 60%. Which is a very funny joke by Nick Turbo. My most anticipated games of the big three in 2022 are Starfield, Horizon Forbidden West, and Advance Wars. Have a Happy New Year, guys. I ain't got that. That's a pretty good list.
In chat, just a little bit in the chat. First, he called me a racist, and then he's asked why my head is so shiny. So maybe I don't wish him that much of a New Year. I don't even know what he's talking about. I have no idea where the racist thing came from. I feel like I did nothing offensive. Is it because I did a impression of the guy from Fast and Furious? What's his name? I don't know why I'm blanking on that all of a sudden. But yeah, it was probably one of the most racist things to ever happen, Mike. I think. Yeah. What was it? What's his name? This is the biggest brain fart ever. Come on, Riddick.
I was gonna say Vin. That's not Dom.
Vin Diesel. That's right.
Dominic Torello.
I wanted the real guy, not the character Vin. I wanted Vin Diesel.
Oh, you wanted Vin Diesel. Okay, fair enough.
Yes,
I just said with the guy from Fast and Furious. I guess that was, you were asking for the character's or the actor's name, weren't you? Okay.
Yeah, I just was having a giant brain fart there.
From VJ Incoming. Happy New Year, Jeff and Mike. Thank you for being my consistently favorite way to consume gaming news and entertainment this year. I'm sure I speak for many people in the community when I say this was a bright spot on 2021. Thank you so much. You all are being very kind. His question: with the rise of Smash Brothers clones this year, what would make the better game? A Smash clone with fast food mascots or a Smash clone with cereal mascots? Who would you main? That's a really good question.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think the fast food mascots actually would be slightly better because I think there's a more variety, and so it would really feel like when a new one came along, it would be like out of nowhere. But maybe there's also not as many fast food mascots. So
I would main Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, not Wendy. Like Dave Thomas is like Wendy is the standard character from there, but Dave Thomas is the unlockable.
Yes,
and it's better. For cereal, I mean, God, Captain Crunch was the first that came to mind, but maybe it's a little bland. How about the frog from Smacks? I'm going to main the frog from Smacks. What's his name? It's probably Smacky or something.
Yeah, probably Smackers or something. I would main Vid Kid from the Burger King Kids Club.
Nice. What about Wheels?
What about Right? Yeah, I would main Wheels. Wheels deserves to be in there too. You're right.
He does. Wheels.
And then and then for a cereal mascot, who would I main? I don't know. I'd probably just be a simp and go Tony the Tiger. And
should
go right.
I'm still laughing at Wheels.
I find nothing funny about that. I think that's perfectly.
I think there's a lot funny about these assholes in marketing, like trying to make this diverse set of characters. They just put a kid in a wheelchair, and like all the other people have cool names. Like this kid's name is Wheels because he's crippled.
God, the '90s, right? It was just that's such a '90s way of representing people.
Remember that Burger King Kids Club commercial that was in the VHS for Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze? Where
Mike, I'm gonna break your heart. No, I don't remember that.
We're not friends anymore.
I mean, it sounds like something that definitely happened, but I don't remember that at all.
Oh, Diggum is the name of the frog from Smacks. Diggum. I guess he digs some Smacks.
Well, you got it. Winnie featuring Stress, so much stress. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Winnie. I've got What the Dub, Cruisin' Blast, and Mario Party Superstars. Any other gaming suggestions aside from Jackbox for a bachelor party? Well, I mean,
Monkey Ball.
You're pretty good. Yeah, Monkey Ball. That's a good one.
The 4-player Monkey Ball games are so much fun.
Tell them the mode that you really like, the party game that you really
Monkey Target. Oh, Monkey Target. It's just you all roll down a ramp and you kind of glide towards these targets, and it sounds so simple, but for some reason it is the most fun thing ever. But a lot of those mini games are a great time.
I wish Burnout 3 Takedown was on Switch, because that crash mode in there is so good. It's such a great pass around the controller game. And it seems like it'd be a really fun thing at a bachelor party.
And Mario Kart Smash Brothers, obviously.
Yeah, you'll be good. From Charles, I'm gonna call him Chuck. What games this year could you not put down until you finished? And what was your favorite? What was your game of the year or something else? I find it can be very different for me. When I played Ratchet and Clank, I played it every night until I finished. One of my favorites of the year, but not my game of the year. Oh, and it's saying, and was that your game of the year? The game you couldn't put down?
I mean, the big one I could have put down was Endwalker, and it was hard because I literally had to wait in 2-hour queue sometimes to play it. But I literally, if I had free time, that was what I wanted to do until I beat that main story quest. And then I still play it, and that is my game of the year. Ratchet Clank was, though, another one. Yeah, I pretty much just couldn't stop playing that one. I just kept playing it.
I got that one for review, and I beat it in 2 days because I just could not stop playing it. It's not my game of the year, but it's close. It's up there.
Yeah, same.
And I guess... I mean, Hitman 3.
I was about to say Hitman 3 is the same.
Yeah, and then even Metroid Dread, those are
actually Metroid Dread was absolutely that way too.
Yes,
yeah. Metroid Dread I kept beating. I beat it
exactly. Yes, and I don't do that with any game really, where I immediately start playing it again, and that's what I did with Metroid Dread. And so yeah, and that is right up there, number 2 on my list right now. Crimson 13. Hey, Mike and Jeff. Hope your holidays have been good. We finally got an update for Final Fantasy 16, and the next info drop is spring 2022. Do you think this means E3 2022 or something earlier? Seems to me that it is usually the latest possible moment for a time window. Also, March is kind of packed with Chocobo GP, Triangle Strategy, Final Fantasy Origins, and Babylon's Fall, which are all published by Square, and then Forspoken is supposedly in May. It would probably have to be June for Final Fantasy 16 Blowout Unveiling, right? I would love an hour-long Final Fantasy 16 Uncovered event in February or March, of course, because that is sooner, but hopefully it is shown by June. Lol. Thank you guys for doing the chats and podcast. Love listening. Have a happy new year. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. I think he's right.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll probably hear about it at E3, probably, right? They'll probably give a little bit more information in around March-ish. Maybe when Final Fantasy Origins does come out, they give us a small little tidbit, and then they say tune in for E3. I think that's how it'll go. Let's see. And then next one's from Danger Man.
Oh.
Reflecting on 2021, what are some predictions you personally had you got right and what you got wrong? Inspired by the Stephen K. Bush of the New Statesman, and he had a thing where he's like, what I got right and what I got wrong in 2021 article. More people should be doing this format. I'll take a look at that format. Maybe that's something we can actually start doing, where we give our predictions and stuff, and we can check back on it. But I don't remember my predictions from last year. I know that stuff goes right out of my brain as soon as I say it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. I'm sure I would have thought that Silk Song would have come out,
Right.
Maybe even at the, I don't know. I wonder if this time last year, if we both thought that Breath of the Wild 2 was coming out in 2021. I think I may have said that, so I probably was wrong about that.
Yeah, I'm sure I was wrong about a lot of stuff, like always. From Jesse, aka Don Cabeza from Xbox Era. Hey, Jesse.
Hey.
Do you think Xbox/Bethesda will stay as one show, or will Bethesda have their own show with a long breakdown on Starfield and Redfall this E3? Love you both so very much, and happy almost New Year.
Happy New Year. I think they'll do what they did last year. It's kind of like one big show. There's like a separation. There's a part where you cut the Todd Howard on a Bethesda themed stage or whatever.
Right.
But if it's like an actual in-person press conference, it'll just come out and there'll be Bethesda logos for a bit. I don't think it's going to be two separate things.
Yeah, I think what happened last year was they were planning on doing two separate things at the same time, where they were going to do it back-to-back, and there was going to be even more of a delineation between the two, but it was still going to kind of happen back-to-back. And then what we saw what happened in the end was they basically made it one show where they went from one stage to the other, like what Mike described. And the reason they made that decision was eventually Bethesda was like, hey, when we were doing our show, we would show games before we were like super ready to do that, because we had to like justify a show. And now that we're with Xbox, it kind of doesn't make sense to do that. Can we just like fit into Xbox? And I think that thinking is going to continue like winning the day, and they'll just keep showing on the Xbox stage. It'll still be heavily like, this is the Bethesda brand. And the Bethesda brand is its own thing, because that's very important to justifying the Game Pass thing, where it's like, oh, if you get Game Pass, you get Xbox games, and you get all the Bethesda brand games as well. Like it makes you feel like you're getting more. So they'll keep leaning into that, but it'll still probably be one show, because so that way Bethesda doesn't have to carry their own thing.
Here's a prediction I can be put on the hook for. So they're obviously going to show Redfall and Starfield, but they will announce a new Quake.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, and I think it's probably Machine Games that's working on that alongside their Indiana Jones game. From Epic Open World, I hope you all have prosperous 2022. Thank you. Rank these games from earliest to latest actually coming out. Final Fantasy XVI, Dragon Age, Everwild, and Insomniac's Wolverine game.
Wow. I think Final Fantasy 16 comes out first.
Yeah.
And then... Okay, so then there was Wolverine, Everwild, and then what's the other one? Dragon Age. I'll say I feel like Wolverine before Dragon Age. Is that crazy?
I mean, I disagree, but I don't know if it's crazy.
I don't know. No, you're right. Dragon Age before Wolverine, and then Everwild.
Yeah, I think that's actually my answer as well. I think Everwild is going to get just pushed out and out and out, and if it ever comes out, it'll be a long time from now. So yeah. Final Fantasy 16, Dragon Age, Wolverine, Everwild.
Plus, Everwild's going to have a probably lengthy, like, beta, early access thing. Like, when does it come out?
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, got a couple more here. King is overrated says, Happy New Year's, guys. Thank you, King. We appreciate that. Finally get to catch the show live since it's New Year's Eve. Awesome. Quick question. What ports are you guys most anticipating for 2022? Me personally, I'm hoping MLB The Show 2022 comes to PC, and Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD come to Switch. That's a good answer.
Wind Waker is the big one for me. I want to play Wind Waker again on my Switch. And then, I mean, gosh, am I looking forward to the Pixel Remaster ports? I don't know. I don't even know if I am. And then I definitely want to see like those Persona games coming to Switch finally. I would probably like an excuse to play Persona 4 again. I would do that.
I think I'm excited for people to get a chance to play Inscription on console, on Switch. I hope that comes to Switch next year, and I think that has a very good chance of blowing people's minds on console, because it's for me it was like, oh yeah, this is from the guy that did Pony Island. I know what to expect here, and it was kind of in line with that, so it didn't really super blow my mind. But I don't think it's going to be the kind of game that people on console haven't really seen much before, so I think it's going to have a real good chance of doing well there. But then, yeah, Twilight Princess HD, I'm actually ready to go back and try that again. So, and Wind Waker goes without saying. All right, from Alex. Do either of you have any gaming resolutions? Mine this year is to try and actually beat more games, especially for my backlog. Someone in the Discord showed a game tracking app, which I plan to use, see how many games I beat by the end of the year. Oh, yeah, I wonder if they're talking about GG. I think it's GG is an app you can use. I started using that, and it's very useful. So, and follow me on there. I'm just Grubb. So follow me on GG. Do you have any gaming resolutions, Mike?
No, I don't know. Not really. Big one is I kind of stopped Dragon Quest VIII in the middle of it, like halfway through this year. I want to go back and beat that soonish. But other than that, nothing too crazy. Like I'm not gonna resolve to like beat all the Dragon Quest games or go through. There's no particular series that I'm like I haven't played those games and I should, and I'm ashamed of myself. I don't know. If I thought about more, something's gonna come up, but probably nothing I want to promise. Things I would
Right.
like to do, but nothing that I'm going to go so far as to call a resolution.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play through this at least one of the Stalker games. There's one that people say is, oh, this is the best one. Definitely play that. And I'm gonna play a lot of Stalker. Probably mod it all to hell and stuff, and see what I can do with it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But that's the one I'm like, I want to get that into my repertoire. I want to like be able to speak to that game going forward.
You know what I'm looking forward to is that port of Power Slave that we're getting.
Oh yeah,
It making me think about I did spend a lot of time this year playing like old first person shooters, and I had fun doing that. And Power Slave Exhumed is something that's coming at some point in 2022. We did talk about that, but that's one I am
that's
actually
Night Dive, right? Night Dive's doing that. Is that another
That's Night
MVG
Dive.
one? Yeah,
That's Night
MVG's
Dive.
working on that, I think. So yeah.
People did the fantastic, ridiculously good Quake port. So
From Oregon. Hey guys, I've been watching Alien Isolation streams lately, and the Alien AI still feels like a marvel 7 years later. Do you guys also feel that no game AI has come close since? Is creating such a complex game AI just too costly for most AAA developers? It was impressive. I didn't play a ton of that game. I played some of it. It was a bit too spooky for me. I'm a coward. But I will say that like it's a little bit easier to create a complex AI when it's just one thing moving around a world. And what's going to happen here is with the much more powerful CPUs that we have now, they'll be able to replicate that AI across like an entire world with like with hundreds of characters. And so maybe we'll see that stuff really sort of be expanded this generation, hopefully very soon. Last question here from Sosuke. If you had to guess before this generation of consoles is over, who do you think could get acquired, Sega or Square, by either Microsoft or Sony or someone else?
if it wasn't for Final Fantasy 14, Square would actually maybe be in danger of being acquired, huh?
Right, and so that makes the answer to me Sega. But even that, I don't think will happen.
I don't think either's going to happen. I guess Sega would be slightly more likely, but it's like, they don't seem like a good fit for Microsoft or for Sony, really. Like if I was Microsoft and I wanted to get one of the Japanese developers, I would get like Capcom or Konami, right?
Yeah. I mean, for the IP for Konami easily would be worth it, but I mean, who knows what they're selling? I think maybe Tencent comes in and buys Sega or something like that. That
something
might make
weird like
sense.
that. But like for us, there's no change. Like it's still just Sega.
Exactly. All right, Mike, that does it for the community questions. Do you have any more from the super chats?
Yeah, I got a couple more super chats here. Kung Fu Hot Dog says, "Happy 2022, fellas. Thanks for the laughs. If you had to pick the weirdest story to happen next year in gaming, what would that be? Cheers, lads." What's going to be the weirdest story that happens? Elden Ring is actually the new Silent Hill. That's the twist ending.
I mean, it's kind of hard to beat. That is the weirdest thing that could probably happen. I don't know. That abandoned actually is something. I mean, it's basically the same thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that abandoned actually turns out to really have been something all along. It comes out.
What if abandoned is just good?
Yes, if abandoned is good, that would be the weirdest thing to happen in 2022. Yes, agreed. If it comes out, or Beyond Good and Evil 2 comes out, or something like that would be weird. Yeah.
Gosh. All right. We got another one coming up, but before that, OGTK Cole says, "Do you guys think CD Projekt Red will redeem themselves with the community in 2022? Love you guys. Stay safe for the holidays. Same to you.
Thank you.
I mean, if those next gen ports for both Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk are good, like that's going to be probably the time when most people go back to Cyberpunk or maybe finally check it out because they were reserved on it from all the like I haven't played a second of it because some people are complaining about it. I was like, well, I'll probably just wait for those next gen versions to come out because they'll have things squared up by then. I didn't think it would be this long, but when it comes out for next gen consoles, I will finally play it and I will talk about it. Other people will talk about it, and maybe we'll say this game is good actually.
Yeah.
So that'll be that. And Witcher 3, if that has a good next gen port, people will continue to play that again, and they'll be excited about that. And if they announce Witcher 4, that'll go a long way towards helping their cause. Jared Helder asks, how many gigabytes will Starfield be? How about Elder Scrolls 6? Man, I'm not good at this stuff. A lot.
It'll be like 100 gigabytes probably. Yeah, it'll be in that range.
I'll say Elder Scrolls 6 will be 102 gigabytes.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, I know. King is overrated. This is the last one we got for now. Asks, I should have asked this in my community question as well, but Jeff, do you think that MOB could come to PC this year?
It could. I think it could, but I think it's they said early on when they were doing this multi-platform strategy that it would come to Xbox and then it would come to Switch. So there's going to be a Switch version. And then I don't think they ever said anything about PC. But if they're doing the Switch version, it kind of feels like at the same time, why not just do a PC version? So I think there's a good chance, and I would be excited about that.
All right, Jeff, that's it.
And, yeah, okay. Yeah, then I think, I mean, that pretty much does it. Do you have any games to talk about?
Nah, well, mostly just wanted to complain about Death's Door some more, but I already did that. I don't need to beat up that game too much that everybody loves, apparently. So
I started Tales of Arise, Mike.
You started Tales of Arise. You're probably really mad that you don't do too much in the beginning.
You don't do too much in the beginning. I skipped a lot of cutscenes, Mike.
Well, now you're not going to be... Well, you can't... It's not... Jeff, that's not the kind of game you can skip cutscenes in. You're not going to like it. Yeah, you're lost cause already then.
I think I might not like it. It's fun when you're playing it, but it just doesn't let you play very much. You
haven't played a lot of... There's a lot of setup in JRPGs in the beginning. They're setting up characters and world. It does less of that as it goes on. But look, if you're not
listen, I have an idea. What if they let me play it instead?
Oh my god, you do get to play. You play more once you get into it. But yes, that's how JRPGs work. And I mean, you think it looks cool though, right? Like it looks great. Cool. You like the music? It looks very cool. Good.
Yeah, I have I use my Steam account, so I got like the special version. There's a bunch of like unlockable costumes I got already, and it's got a style to it, and the combat does feel really nice. Yeah. I see why people like it. I just like it was on so many Game of the Year lists. I was like, I should try this.
It's very good, but you can't skip cutscenes.
I skipped all of them. It's a bad sign. This is most games, but it's a bad sign when you skip a cutscene and it's like, oh, okay, we'll take you to the next cutscene then. I'm like, oh, guys, no, I wanted to skip all of it. Like, why are we doing this? And then you skip it again, and there's like 4 more times it does that. It's like, guys, what are we doing here? Like, why is one cutscene just leading into another cutscene?
I appreciate that you tried it, Jeff, but yeah, I don't think.
Listen, you told me I would not like it. You told me it was not for me, and I think you were very much right about, like, especially because of all the talky stuff up front. So
no, that's exactly. I remember even playing. It's like, man, like even I'm like, man, this game does have a lot of stuff before you get into your first battle, even compared to most JRPGs, and Jeff was not like that. I'm impressed you got to battles though. You did it. I mean, because you skipped a lot of cutscenes.
Yes.
You didn't know
I started like right before the show. I had like a half an hour. I was just waiting around, and I'm like, I should. And I'm like, so I'm like feeling the pressure. I'm like, well, I want to like actually touch the game. Fair. Yeah. So that's kind of how it was. But if
I ever play a JRPG, it's like, this is a JRPG. Jeff will like, maybe you'll like Sea of Stars, which isn't really a JRPG. But
yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. Mike, let's go enjoy our New Year's Eve. Let's go get out of here. Let's wrap up. What's that?
I kind of need to go to the DMV before I head off to this cabin.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna hit the button then. Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
On Twitter at Tokoto. Also check out 90's Disney. Our new Hercules episode goes live tomorrow on January 1st. So that's at 90sdisney.com. Check out our Discords for those giveaways. I'll probably be picking winners after the weekend. Go to the GamesBeat Decides channel for the Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker Collector's Edition one, and the Last of the 10 Dogs channel for all the other ones. They should be pinned messages there.
I am going to put the Mario Game & Watch things on here as soon as this episode's over. I promise.
We'll see about that.
Thank you everybody for listening all throughout this year. It's been a lot of fun doing this show. It's been growing every week. Like the line just keeps going up pretty gradually. So anyone who's coming in here, if you're a new listener, we really appreciate that. If you've been with us for a year plus now at this point, thank you so much. It's fun to do this show every week and hang out with y'all and talk about video games. We'll be back with another episode next week. We'll start doing our Game of the Year stuff. We're kind of figuring out exactly what it's going to look like, but I do believe next week, if Rachel and Dean are available, we will begin doing our Game of the Year stuff where we start talking about categories. And it's not going to be like an argument or anything. It's going to be like all of us just talking about our picks for these categories and stuff. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to have your input, we will have ways for you to do that through super chats, through the community questions. So join the Patreon, patreon.com/GameMess. get in the Discord, come hang out with us and stuff. Vote for your game of the year. We'll be finishing that up here pretty soon. So I'll put out a link. The link's not ready yet. I need to like go update the challenge thing, the bracket, and then I'll get that stuff out tonight. So you can keep voting. Make sure the games you want to win are going to win. Mike, what are your plans for tonight? You said you were going to go to a cabin, right?
I'm going to be there all weekend, so it's a couple hours.
I mean,
away,
it's like it's just like a small group of people, right? Like they said, they said that's pretty safe. Like you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think I'll be fine. But I don't actually think I'm in danger, but I still just feel bad doing these things.
I mean, I know. It's been like so long of like being so careful that anything. Like we went on that train, and I was like, a lot of guilt associated.
Like even my brother who got COVID, he says he's gonna be fine, but he's just mad he got COVID, right? Like he got so far.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next year.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you next year.